Hey guys, BlockbyBlock here, lightning address in the description below if you want to help support the channel. Today I want to talk about why do banks actually secretly love Bitcoin? And the simple answer is it comes down to the fact that Bitcoin, the main chain, the base layer, can only support 7 transactions per second. Now, how does this benefit banks? First, I want to start off by saying that the 7 transactions per second might seem low, but there's certain reasons Bitcoiners have chosen to keep the block size of 1 MB. Even with SegWit, I guess it's technically 4, but there's security trade-offs and decentralization trade-offs, so it's necessary to keep the transactions per second low and the block size smaller so more people can run a full node and the network is more decentralized. But that's not what banks care about. I'm here to talk about how does this benefit them? And maybe it's why they're pushing to adopt it so hard. While the United States has drawn a line between crypto and Bitcoin, because think about it, if it's such a threat to them, why are they pushing Bitcoin so hard? Hear me out. 7 transactions per second is amazing for financial institutions because since the base layer cannot handle the network traffic that is going to come as Bitcoin adoption rises, layer 2 solutions are required. And these financial institutions, these banks, these asset managers like BlackRock, they can position themselves by offering layer 2 solutions. I'll give you an example, guys. The Bitcoin Lightning Network runs into liquidity problems because most channels don't have enough Bitcoin between those two channels to successfully route payments from one person to another. So you end up with Lightning hubs. And banks are going to start running Lightning hubs and they're going to collect routing fees because they'll have so much Bitcoin. And you already see a lot of companies accumulating a lot of Bitcoin, a lot of asset managers accumulating a lot of Bitcoin. And now with SAB 121, banks are also now allowed to accumulate Bitcoin. They can run Lightning hubs and they won't run into any liquidity issues. So if you want to transact in the Lightning Network, you can route your payments through these banks and they'll collect fees as middlemen. So actually, ironically, people think altcoins like XRP or Solana are so amazing because they have all these transactions per second, and that makes them more competitive against Bitcoin, and that banks will be more interested in them. Just think logically for a second. Why would a banking system choose the cryptocurrency that can handle all the transactions on the base layer where they can position themselves through layer 2s to profit over a cryptocurrency that definitively requires layer 2 solutions for global adoption? I'm not saying these cryptocurrencies are better than Bitcoin. The problem with higher transactions on the base chain is they're much, much more centralized than Bitcoin, and it's pretty much impossible for the average person to run a full node. And you can see this problem playing out with Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, even though people hardly use it just because the block size is so big. I think the amount of terabytes you need to run a full node is just ridiculous. It's not feasible for the average person, making it a lot more centralized. My point is, the 7 transactions per second is something that greatly benefits the traditional financial system. Lightning hubs, they can position themselves there to accumulate fees. Federated sidechains, you're going to see banks creating Bitcoin federated sidechains like the Liquid network, where they'll be able to collect fees. There will be various other layer 2 solutions, probably some that'll be a lot more centralized, where you might have wrapped Bitcoin and you're transacting that on a layer 2 and the Bitcoin is custodied by the bank. But this is inevitably where we're going. I know people want to believe this sovereign citizen thing where everybody's going to have like a cold card and they're going to roll dice and generate their own seed phrase and check the entropy to make sure that it's truly randomized and take the micro SD out, put it in their computer, verify the transaction, and figure out how to do all this partially signed Bitcoin transaction stuff and run their own Bitcoin node and know how to audit the download. That's not happening. Most people struggle to properly uninstall a software application on their computer. They just go on their desktop, right click, and think that deleting the icon deleted the software. It's not happening, guys. Banks and other financial institutions love the fact that Bitcoin only provides 7 transactions per second. This is not me being anti-Bitcoin. The 7 transactions per second are necessary for security and decentralization. I'm a Bitcoin maxi. I'm just saying the truth. We're going to see banks acting as custodians. We're going to see banks offering layer 2 payment networks. And they're going to basically position themselves the same way they made money being middlemen in the fiat system, the same way Visa makes money just by offering a transaction network. They're going to do the same thing with Bitcoin. And this is why they're going to favor Bitcoin over these other cryptocurrencies that can actually handle the amount of traffic that would be expected that a cryptocurrency would receive from global adoption. So just think logically. Of course, banks are going to support the chain. They're going to support the cryptocurrency that offers less transactions on the main chain and requires layer 2s than the cryptocurrency that can handle thousands of transactions per second. As Bitcoiners, this is bullish for us because it basically means now we have an alignment of incentives where the traditional finance system and us are both benefiting from Bitcoin. This is very bullish, and this is one of the reasons they have not banned Bitcoin. They're not going to ban Bitcoin, is because they are positioning themselves to greatly, greatly profit from it. Anyways, guys, I hope this was informative. This has been Block by Block, Lightning address if you want to support the channel, and I will see you next time.